6 months after the Crimson Horde incident, the galaxy looked very different. President Nam Ki-seok stood at the window of his shuttle as it approached the Galactic Council station. Below, he could see something that would have been impossible before: alien ships practicing military maneuvers. "Sir," his aide said, "the council is ready for your arrival ceremony." President Nam Ki-seok nodded. Today, Earth would officially join the Galactic Council. But everyone knew humanity was not joining as just another member. They were joining as the protectors of galactic civilization. Ambassador Oh Tai-min sat across from the president, reviewing his notes. "Sir, 12 species have requested human military advisors. 15 more want to buy our weapons technology. And what did General Song Mi-kyung tell them? That we'll teach them to defend themselves, but we won't sell them weapons that could threaten peaceful worlds." President Nam Ki-seok smiled. "Good. We're not here to arm the galaxy. We're here to protect it." The shuttle docked at the council station. President Nam Ki-seok was greeted by Councillor Thalvek, who looked much different than she had 6 months ago. She wore a simple uniform instead of flowing robes. Her staff had been replaced with communication devices that could call for help instantly. "Mr. President," she said, "welcome to the Galactic Council. We are honored by your presence." "The honor is mine, Counselor. I'm looking forward to working together." They walked through the station corridors. President Nam Ki-seok noticed the changes everywhere. Security cameras watched every corner. Emergency alarms were clearly marked. Guard posts stood at important doorways. "You've made improvements," he observed. Councillor Thalvek nodded. "General Song Mi-kyung helped us understand that peace requires preparation. We were naive before." They entered the main council chamber. Representatives from all 12 alien species were present, but the chamber felt different. There was a new energy in the air. The aliens sat straighter, spoke more clearly, and watched the entrances carefully. Elder Zix Thera floated near the center podium. She was the oldest being in the galaxy, ancient beyond measure. Her body looked like living, starlight held together by wisdom. "President Nam Ki-seok," she said in a voice like cosmic wind, "I have lived for 10,000 years. I have seen civilizations rise and fall, but I have never seen anything like what your species has accomplished." "What do you mean, Elder?" "You conquered us without firing a shot. You became our rulers without taking our freedom. You made us strong without making us like you." President Nam Ki-seok looked uncomfortable. "We didn't conquer anyone. We just offered to help." Elder Zixathera's starlight form rippled with what might have been laughter. "Young human, you offered help that we could not refuse. When someone can protect you from any threat, saying no to them becomes impossible." Ambassador Oh Tai-min stepped forward. "If I may, Elder, Earth has prepared a formal proposal for galactic cooperation." He activated a holographic display. The image showed the galaxy divided into protection zones, with human ships patrolling the borders and trade routes. "We call it the Galactic Defense Initiative," Ambassador Oh Tai-min explained. "Human forces will patrol the outer rim, watching for external threats. We'll also provide training and equipment to help member species defend their own worlds." "Counselor," Thalvek studied the display. "And in return?" "Nothing," President Nam Ki-seok said. "We ask for nothing except the right to trade freely and explore peacefully." "Nothing?" Ambassador Veltar asked suspiciously. "No tribute? No special privileges?" "We're not conquerors," President Nam Ki-seok explained. "We're protectors. The payment for protection is living in a safe galaxy." War Scholar Nix Orth materialized beside the hologram. "Mr. President, this is unprecedented. Throughout history, warrior species have always demanded tribute from those they protect." "Then they weren't really protectors," President Nam Ki-seok replied. "They were just another kind of threat." General Song Mi-kyung entered the chamber, wearing the new uniform of the Galactic Defense Initiative. She was a small woman, but her presence filled the room. Every alien representative turned to look at her. "General," Councillor Thalvek said, How goes the training of our defense forces? Better than expected, General Song Mi-kyung replied. The Zephyrians have learned basic tactical thinking. The Sylvani have developed excellent reconnaissance skills. Even the Aquatic Alliance has organized underwater patrol units. Are they ready to defend themselves? General Song Mi-kyung paused. Ready to delay an attack until human forces arrive? Yes. Ready to fight off a major invasion alone? Not yet. Maybe not ever. Why not? Ambassador Veltar asked. Because you're not warriors, General Song Mi-kyung said gently. You're scientists, artists, philosophers. You can learn to fight, but you'll never love it, and that's good. The galaxy needs people who prefer peace. Elder Zixthara drifted closer to President Nam Kiseok. Young human, I remember the ancient warrior races. They conquered worlds and enslaved populations. They fought until they destroyed themselves. But you are different. How? They conquered to rule. You conquered to serve. President Nam Kiseok frowned. We didn't conquer anyone. Didn't you? Elder Zixthara asked. Can any species in this galaxy say no to human requests? Can anyone ignore human advice? Can anyone act without considering what humans might think? President Nam Kiseok realized she was right. Without meaning to, humanity had become the center of galactic civilization. Not through force, but through competence. Ambassador O Taiman continued his presentation. Human exploration fleets are already establishing monitoring stations along the galactic rim. We've identified 17 potential threat vectors and begun building early warning systems. Threat vectors? Counselor Thalvek asked. Routes that hostile forces might use to enter our galaxy, General Song Mi-kyung explained. The Crimson Horde taught us that dangerous things exist beyond our borders. We need to watch for them. The hologram changed to show human ships spreading outward from Earth. They moved like antibodies protecting a living organism, seeking threats before they could cause harm. How far will you expand? War Scholar Nixorth asked. As far as necessary, President Nam Kiseok replied. We'll keep pushing the boundaries of safe space until nothing can threaten peaceful civilizations. And if you encounter other warrior species, we'll offer them the same choice we offer everyone, General Song Mi-kyung said. Join the peaceful galaxy or stay away from it. And if they choose to fight? General Song Mi-kyung's expression became cold. Then they'll learn why the Crimson Horde fled into the void. The ceremony continued with formal speeches and diplomatic protocols. But everyone understood the real meaning of the day. Humanity was not joining the Galactic Council as equals. They were accepting responsibility for protecting galactic civilization. Later, President Nam Kiseok stood alone on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. Elder Zixthara joined him, her starlight form reflecting off the windows. Do you regret it? She asked. Regret what? Becoming the galaxy's protectors. It's a heavy burden. You'll never be able to rest. Every threat, every conflict, every problem will become your responsibility. President Nam Kiseok thought about this. Elder, on Earth we have a saying. With great power comes great responsibility. We didn't ask for this role, but we're the only ones who can fill it. And you're willing to carry that burden forever? For as long as necessary, until the galaxy is truly safe. Until every peaceful species can live without fear. Elder Zixthara was quiet for a long moment. The ancient warrior races fought for glory, conquest, and power. But you fight for something else. What's that? You fight so that no one else has to. A communication alert sounded. General Song Mi-kyung's voice came over the intercom. Mr. President, we're receiving signals from beyond the galactic rim. Multiple unknown contacts approaching from 3 different directions. President Nam Kiseok straightened. Hostile? Unknown. But they're not responding to our warning transmissions. Alert all human ships. Prepare for defensive action. Already done, sir. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung is moving to intercept with the 3rd Fleet. Elder Zixthara watched President Nam Kiseok's face. You're not surprised? No. We knew this day would come. Word has spread through the void about what happened to the Crimson Horde. Other forces are coming to test us. Are you afraid? President Nam Kiseok smiled grimly. No, we're ready. He opened a communication channel to all human forces in the galaxy. This is President Nam Kiseok. Unknown contacts are approaching our borders. All defensive forces are authorized to engage if threatened. Remember, we don't fight for conquest, we fight for protection. We don't fight for glory. We fight for peace. And we never ever let threats reach innocent people. Across the galaxy, human ships began moving toward the rim. They moved with purpose and confidence, carrying weapons that could destroy fleets, and crews trained since childhood in the arts of war. But they also carried something else. They carried the hopes of 12 peaceful species who had learned to trust their protectors completely. The aliens watched their defenders leave and felt something they had never experienced before. They felt safe. They knew that somewhere in the darkness, humans were standing guard, watching, waiting, ready to fight so that others could live in peace. The alarm screamed through the Galactic Council chambers. Red lights flashed on every wall. Council members ran in panic as emergency messages flooded their communication systems. "Outer defense grid destroyed," shouted a technician. "Enemy fleet approaching at high speed." Counselor Thalvek stood frozen at her command post. For 300 years, the galaxy had known peace. Their defense systems were old and weak. They had never expected to actually use them. "How many ships?" she asked with a shaking voice. "Over 10,000, Counselor. They came from beyond the rim. We've never seen ships like these before." On the main screen, images of the attacking fleet appeared. The ships were black and ugly, covered with spikes and weapons. They looked like flying nightmares. "Who are they?" Ambassador Veltar asked. War scholar Nixorth materialized beside the command post. His smoky form was darker than usual. "They are called the Crimson Horde, raiders from the void between galaxies. I thought they were just legends. What do they want? Everything. They destroy civilizations for sport. They take slaves, steal resources, and burn worlds just to watch them die." The communication system crackled. A horrible voice filled the chamber. It sounded like metal scraping against stone. "Weak galaxy dwellers," the voice said. "We are Warlord Kajtul of the Crimson Horde. Your defenses are broken. Your worlds are ours. Surrender now, and we will kill you quickly." Counselor Thalvek tried to respond. We are peaceful people. We can negotiate. We can find a solution that benefits everyone." Warlord Kajtul laughed. The sound made everyone in the chamber cover their ears. "Negotiate? You will learn the meaning of pain. We will take your children as slaves and use your worlds for target practice." The transmission ended. On the screen, the Crimson Horde fleet continued its advance toward the core worlds. "How long until they reach the first populated system?" Counselor Thalvek asked. 6 hours, the technician replied. Ambassador Veltar's crystal body had turned, completely black with fear. "Our defense fleet cannot stop them. We have only patrol ships and research vessels." "What about the outer colony's defense forces?" War scholar Nixorth shook his head. "The Crimson Horde destroyed them in minutes. These raiders have been fighting for thousands of years. They know only war." Counselor Thalvek looked around the chamber at her fellow council members. They were teachers, scientists, artists, and philosophers. None of them knew how to fight a war. "We need help," she said quietly. "From who?" Ambassador Veltar asked. "No one in the galaxy has a military strong enough to fight the Crimson Horde." War scholar Nixorth's form rippled. "There is one species that might be able to help." Everyone turned to look at him. "The humans," he said. "But they only have a few ships," Ambassador Veltar protested. "How can they fight 10,000 raiders?" "Because," War scholar Nixorth said, "they are exactly what we need. They are warriors." An hour later, Colonel Park Hyunwoo stood in the communication room aboard the UES Indomitable. He was reading the message from the Galactic Council. The request for help was desperate and polite. "Sir," his aide said, "they're asking us to help defend their entire galaxy with one ship. Colonel Park Hyun-woo smiled. They don't understand what one human ship can do. He walked to the bridge where Captain Ryu Sung-ho was studying tactical displays. The Indomitable was Earth's newest exploration vessel. It looked small compared to the massive alien ships, but it was built with human technology and human thinking. "Captain, we have a mission," Colonel Park Hyun-woo said. "What kind of mission?" "The kind we trained for. There's a raider fleet attacking the Galactic core. 10,000 ships, the Council wants our help." Captain Ryu Sung-ho grinned. 10,000 ships? That's barely a warm-up exercise. In the engineering section, Engineer Lee Sun-mi was already preparing the ship's weapons. She was young but brilliant. She had designed half of the Indomitable's systems herself. "Ma'am," her assistant asked, "are we really going to fight 10,000 enemy ships with just us?" "No," Engineer Lee Sun-mi replied. "We're not going to fight them. We're going to eliminate them." "What's the difference?" "Fighting means both. Sides have a chance to win. Elimination means only one side survives." The Indomitable arrived at the Galactic Council station just as the Crimson Horde fleet entered sensor range. The alien defenders watched in amazement as the small human ship positioned itself directly between the massive raider fleet and the core worlds. "Human vessel," Counselor Thalvek called over the radio. "There are too many of them. You should retreat." "Negative, Counselor," Captain Ryu Sung-ho replied calmly. "We're exactly where we need to be." The Crimson Horde fleet spread out in attack formation. 10,000 ships filled space like a dark cloud. Each ship was twice the size of the Indomitable. Warlord Kajatul's voice boomed across all frequencies. "Little ship, you are brave but stupid. We will crush you first, then destroy your pathetic friends." Captain Ryu Sung-ho opened a channel to the entire raider fleet. "This is Captain Ryu Sung-ho of the United Earthship Indomitable. You have attacked our allies. You have threatened innocent people. This ends now. You think one tiny ship can stop the Crimson Horde?" Warlord Kajitul laughed. "I think," Captain Ryu Sung-ho said, "you've never fought humans before." The battle began suddenly. The Crimson Horde charged forward expecting to overwhelm the lone human ship with sheer numbers, but the Indomitable didn't fight like any ship they had ever seen. It moved impossibly fast, turning and spinning in ways that seemed to break the laws of physics. Its weapons fired with deadly accuracy, destroying raider ships with every shot. Engineer Lee Sun-mi had designed the Indomitable's weapons based on human military thinking. They didn't just destroy enemy ships. They made examples. Each shot was calculated for maximum psychological impact. "Target their command ships first," Colonel Park Hyun-woo ordered. "Show them what happens to leaders who threaten innocent people." The Indomitable tore through the raider formation like a knife through paper. It used tactics the aliens had never seen before. It would appear to retreat, leading enemy ships into traps. It would hide behind debris, then strike without warning. "How are they doing that?" Counselor Thalvek asked, watching the battle on her screens. War scholar Nixorth studied the tactical display. "They're not just fighting, they're hunting." "What's the difference?" "Fighters try to win battles, hunters eliminate prey completely." The Crimson Horde tried to surround the human ship, but the Indomitable was too fast and too smart. It used the raiders' own tactics against them, turning their aggression into weakness. Captain Ryu Seung-ho opened another channel to the raider fleet. "Warlord Kajitul, your fleet is broken. Order your ships to surrender, and we'll let some of you live." "Never." Warlord Kajtul screamed. "We are the Crimson Horde. We do not surrender." "Then you'll all die," Captain Ryu Sung-ho said simply. The Indomitable changed its tactics. Instead of destroying ships one by one, it began targeting their engines and weapons. It disabled hundreds of ships, leaving them helpless in space. Engineer Lee Sun-mi activated a new weapon system. "Broadcasting surrender demands on all frequencies," she announced. "Attention, Crimson Horde." Captain Ryu Sung-ho's voice echoed through space. "Your warlord has led you to destruction. Any ship that surrenders now will be spared. Any ship that continues fighting will be eliminated." One by one, raider ships began to surrender. Their crews had never seen fighting like this. The humans didn't just defeat them, they made defeat look easy. Warlord Kajatul's voice cracked with fear and rage. Cowards, fight, die with honor. But most of his fleet had already given up. They powered down their weapons and waited for the human ship to accept their surrender. The battle lasted only 3 hours. Of the 10,000 ships in the Crimson Horde, 8,000 surrendered, 1,500 were destroyed, and 500 escaped into deep space. The Galactic Council watched in stunned silence as the Indomitable collected the surrendering raider ships and began organizing them into prison formations. How? Counselor Thalvek whispered. How did one ship defeat 10,000? War Scholar Nixorth's smoky form had turned almost white with shock. Because they didn't just fight the ships, they fought the idea of the Crimson Horde. What do you mean? They didn't just win the battle. They destroyed the raiders' belief in their own power. They turned warriors into cowards with fear. Captain Ryu Sung-ho's voice came over the communication system. Galactic Council, this is the Indomitable. The immediate threat has been eliminated. We're sending coordinates for the surviving raider ships. You'll want to question their crews about other threats from beyond the rim. Captain, Counselor Thalvek said, we don't know how to thank you. No thanks needed, Captain Ryu Sung-ho replied. We protect our allies. Colonel Park Hyunwoo added, we're transmitting tactical data about the raiders to your defense forces. This information will help you prepare for future threats. Will there be future threats? Ambassador Veltar asked. There are always threats, Colonel Park Hyunwoo said. But now they know that attacking this galaxy means fighting humans. That should discourage most of them. As the Indomitable prepared to leave, Engineer Lee Sun-mi sent one final message to the fleeing raider ships. It was broadcast on all frequencies so everyone could hear. Been so full. Representatives from all 12 member species sat in emergency session. The great crystal dome above them pulsed with nervous energy. No one had called an emergency meeting in over 200 years. War Scholar Nixorth floated in the center of the chamber. He was ancient even by galactic standards. His body looked like smoke held together by will. For 3,000 years he had studied the remains of dead civilizations. He knew things that made other beings afraid to sleep. Counselor Thalvek spoke first. She was beautiful and pale, with skin like moonlight. Her people had never known violence of any kind. War Scholar, we have read Observer Clixandra's report about the humans. Tell us what you think. War Scholar. Nixorth's smoky form rippled. I have studied the data for many days. I have compared it to the records of ancient species. The conclusion frightens me. The chamber became very quiet. When War Scholar Nixorth said he was frightened, everyone listened. The humans match every characteristic of the berserker races, he continued. The ancient warrior species that once terrorized the galaxy. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The berserker races were legends, stories told to frighten children, entire civilizations that lived only for war and conquest. But the berserkers destroyed themselves, Counselor Thalvek said. They fought until nothing remained. Yes, War Scholar Nixorth agreed. But what if one berserker race learned to control itself? What if they found a way to channel their warrior nature without self-destruction? You think the humans are controlled? Berserkers? Asked Ambassador Veltar. His crystal body had turned dark with worry. I think they are something worse, War Scholar Nixorth replied. They are berserkers who learned to think. At that moment, the chamber doors opened. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung walked in, followed by Dr. Seo Ji-woo. The human delegation had arrived for their formal presentation to the council. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung was tall and calm. His gray hair was cut short, and his uniform was covered with medals. He moved like a man who had seen many battles but still hoped for peace. Dr. Seo Ji-woo carried a large case full of papers and electronic devices. She looked excited to share human knowledge with the galaxy. Honored Council, Admiral Yoon Jae-sung said, bowing respectfully. Thank you for inviting us to speak with you. Please take your seats, Counselor Thalvek said. Her voice shook slightly. Dr. Seo Ji-woo set up her presentation equipment. We have prepared an overview of human military history and strategic thinking. We hope this will help you understand our species better. The aliens looked at each other, nervously. They had not asked for a presentation about human warfare, but now they were about to get one. Our earliest recorded conflicts date back over 5,000 years. Dr. Seoji Wu began. A hologram appeared showing ancient armies with swords and spears. But even then, humans understood basic strategic principles. She clicked to the next image. This is the Battle of Thermopylae. 300 Spartan warriors held off an army of thousands by choosing the right ground and using superior tactics. War scholar Nixorth leaned forward. He recognized the strategy. It was identical to methods used by the ancient berserkers. Over time, we developed more sophisticated approaches to conflict, Dr. Seoji Wu continued. The hologram showed medieval castles, then cannons, then modern tanks and aircraft. Each advancement in weapons led to advancement in tactics. Each new way of fighting created new ways of defending. We call this an arms race. Counselor Thalvek raised her hand. Dr. Seo, why did your people continue to fight? Why didn't you choose peace? Dr. Seoji Wu looked surprised by the question. We did choose peace. Many times. But peace only works when everyone wants it. There were always some groups who preferred war. So you fought to defend peace? Yes. Sometimes the only way to stop violence is with greater violence. The aliens shifted uncomfortably in their seats. This idea was completely alien to them. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung spoke up. May I give an example? Please, Counselor Thalvek said. In our 20th century, a group called the Nazis tried to conquer the world. They killed millions of innocent people. The only way to stop them was to fight a war. But surely negotiation would have worked. Ambassador Veltar asked hopefully. We tried negotiation first, Admiral Yoon Jae-sung said. The Nazis used the peace talks to prepare for more attacks. They only understood force. Dr. Seoji Wu nodded. This taught us an important lesson. Some enemies cannot be reasoned with. They must be defeated completely. Completely? War scholar Nixorth asked. His smoky form grew darker. Yes. We don't just fight to win battles. We fight to win wars. And we don't just win wars. We make sure our enemies can never threaten innocent people again. The chamber fell, silent. This was the core of human military thinking, and it terrified the peaceful aliens. Dr. Seoji Wu continued her presentation. After World War II, we didn't just defeat Germany and Japan. We helped rebuild them as peaceful democracies. We turned our enemies into allies. How? Counselor Thalvek asked. We showed them that cooperation was more profitable than conquest. We proved that peaceful people lived better lives than warriors. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung smiled. The strongest victory is when your former enemy becomes your friend. But what if they refuse to become your friends? War scholar Nixorth asked. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung's smile disappeared. Then we would have made sure they could never threaten anyone again. The aliens understood what he meant. Humans didn't just defeat enemies, they eliminated threats permanently. Dr. Seoji Wu showed more images. Nuclear weapons that could destroy entire cities. Submarines that could hide underwater for months. Satellites that watched every part of Earth. We developed something called mutually assured destruction, she explained. If anyone attacks us with nuclear weapons, we will destroy them completely. This prevents nuclear war because everyone knows the cost. You built weapons that could destroy your own world, Ambassador Veltar asked in horror. Yes. But we also built systems to make sure those weapons are never used by accident. We learned to live with the power to destroy ourselves. War scholar Nixorth was amazed. The ancient berserkers had always used their weapons. Humans had built ultimate weapons and then chose not to use them. They had found a way to threaten total destruction while maintaining peace. Show them the current fleet status, Admiral Yoon Jae-sung said quietly. Dr. Seoji Wu hesitated. Are you sure, Admiral? They need to understand what they're dealing with. The hologram changed to show Earth's space fleet. Hundreds of ships orbited the planet. Each ship was heavily armed and built for long-range missions. These are our exploration vessels, Admiral Yoon Jae-sung explained. We send them to explore new star systems. They look like warships, Counselor Thalvek observed. They are warships, Admiral Yoon Jae-sung admitted. We explore space the same way we explored our own planet. We go in ready for anything. What do you expect to find in space that requires warships? Admiral Yoon Jae-sung looked at the aliens with surprise. Other species like us, other warriors, other threats, but we are peaceful, Ambassador Veltar said. You are peaceful now. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung agreed. But what about species beyond your borders? What about threats you haven't discovered yet? The aliens had never thought about this. Their galaxy had been peaceful for so long, they forgot that dangers might exist. War scholar Nixorth spoke in a voice like distant thunder. Admiral, what would humans do if a hostile force attacked the Galactic Council? Admiral Yoon Jae-sung didn't hesitate. We would destroy them. Even though we are not your allies? You became our allies the moment you welcomed us peacefully. We protect our allies. And if the enemy was very powerful? Then we would build more powerful weapons and better strategies. We would fight until the threat was eliminated. What if you couldn't win? Admiral Yoon Jae-sung smiled grimly. There is always a way to win. Sometimes it just costs more than you want to pay. The chamber was completely silent. Every alien representative stared at the two humans with a mixture of fear and fascination. Counselor Thalvek finally spoke. Admiral, do you understand what you have told us? I think so. We have told you that humans are warriors. You have told us that humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy, War Scholar Nixorth corrected, and that you are offering to protect us. Admiral Yoon Jae-sung nodded. That's correct. Why would you protect us? Because peace is better than war. Because cooperation creates more wealth than conflict. Because protecting innocent people is the right thing to do. Dr. Seo Ji-woo packed up her equipment. We hope this presentation helped you understand human military thinking. It did, Counselor Thalvek said weakly. More than you know. After the humans left, the Galactic Council sat in stunned silence. Finally, War Scholar Nixorth spoke. They have given us a choice, he said. We can accept their protection and live safely under their watch, or we can try to match their military power and risk destroying all of us. There's a third choice, Ambassador Veltar said hopefully. We could ask them to leave our galaxy. War, Scholar Nixorth's smoky form rippled with what might have been laughter. With their exploration fleets, with their thinking, they are already mapping every system within 100 light-years of Earth. Tain Kim Min-ho stood at the gates of Seoul Military Academy. He wore his dress uniform and tried to look friendly. Today he would guide alien visitors around Earth's military facilities. The Galactic Council wanted to learn more about human society. They're coming to see how primitive we are, General Choi Dong-woo had told him. Let them look. Just don't scare them too much. The alien ship landed softly in the Academy courtyard. It was smaller than the first one, built for research instead of diplomacy. The door opened and observer Clixandra stepped out. She looked like a giant insect, but beautiful. Her body was covered in smooth, shiny armor that changed colors in the sunlight. Forearms moved gracefully as she walked. Her large eyes could look in different directions at the same time. Welcome to Earth, Captain Kim Min-ho said. He bowed, politely. I am Captain Kim Min-ho. I will be your guide today. Thank you, Observer Clixandra replied. Her voice buzzed like music. I am here to study your species. The Council wants to understand humans better. What would you like to see? First, your education system. We want to know how you teach your young. Captain Kim Min-ho smiled. This would be interesting. Follow me. They walked into the Academy's main building. Young cadets in uniform walked through the halls carrying books and equipment. They looked serious and disciplined. This is where we train future military officers, Captain Kim Min-ho explained. Students come here at age 18. They study for 4 years. What do they learn? Observer Clixandra asked. She took notes on a device that looked like a glowing leaf. Military history, strategy, leadership, weapon systems, combat tactics. Observer Clixandra stopped walking. Combat tactics? You teach your young how to fight? Of course. How else would they lead soldiers? But why do you need soldiers at all? Captain Kim Min-ho thought about this question. It seemed obvious to him, but maybe not to aliens. To protect our people, to defend our country. From what? From other people who might want to hurt us. Observer Clixandra's colors changed to dark purple. Captain Kim Min-ho learned later this meant she was confused and worried. They entered a classroom where young cadets were studying. The teacher, Colonel Park, was showing them a map covered with red and blue arrows. This is the Battle of Gettysburg, Colonel Park explained to his students. The Confederate forces advanced here, but the Union Army held the high ground. What was the key mistake made by General Lee? A student raised her hand. He attacked, uphill against fortified positions. He should have waited for better terrain or forced the enemy to come to him. Excellent, Colonel Park said. Remember, in war, patience often wins more battles than courage. Observer Clixandra listened with growing alarm. These were children, barely adults, discussing battle strategies like they were talking about the weather. How old are these students? She whispered to Captain Kim Min-ho. 19 or 20 years old. And they study killing? They study warfare, Captain Kim Min-ho corrected. There's a difference. Good officers try to win without unnecessary killing. After the class, they met with Dr. Seo Ji-woo, the Academy's history professor. She was a small woman with kind eyes and a gentle voice. Professor Seo teaches our cadets about the history of human conflict, Captain Kim Min-ho explained. How much history is there? Observer Clixandra asked. Dr. Seo Ji-woo smiled sadly. Too much. We have been fighting wars for thousands of years. But we have also been learning from them. Thousands of years? Observer Clixandra's colors flashed bright red. You have been fighting for thousands of years? Yes, but we have also been making peace for thousands of years, Dr. Seo Ji-woo said. Every war eventually ends. People get tired of fighting and choose to cooperate instead. Can you show me your history books? Dr. Seo Ji-woo led them to the library. The walls were covered with books about military history, thousands of books about battles, wars, generals, and weapons. Observer Clixandra looked at the shelves in shock. All of these books are about fighting. About war, yes, but also about peace, about how people learn to live together after fighting. Dr. Seo Ji-woo pulled out a thick book. This one is about World War II. It was a terrible war, but it taught us important lessons about cooperation and human rights. World War II? Observer Clixandra asked. You number your world wars? Well, yes. There have been several wars that involved most of the world. How many? 2 major ones. Many smaller conflicts. Observer Clixandra sat down heavily. Her colors kept changing between purple and red. Your entire species fought each other? Twice? More than twice, Dr. Seo Ji-woo admitted. But we learned from each war. We got better at making peace. Captain Kim Min-ho's radio buzzed. Sir, Lieutenant Han Yu-jin is ready for the flight demonstration. Ah, perfect timing, Captain Kim Min-ho said. Would you like to see our aircraft? They walked to the airfield where Lieutenant Han Yu-jin waited beside a sleek fighter jet. She was young, maybe 25, with short black hair and bright eyes. She looked excited. This is our newest training aircraft, she explained to Observer Clixandra. It's designed for teaching new pilots how to fly in combat situations. Combat situations? Observer Clixandra asked weakly. Air-to-air fighting, ground attack missions, defensive patrols, Lieutenant Han Yu-jin said cheerfully. Would you like to see what it can do? Before Observer Clixandra could answer, Lieutenant Han Yu-jin climbed into the cockpit. The jet's engines roared to life. You might want to cover your ears, Captain Kim Min-ho advised. The fighter jet shot into the sky like a bullet. It climbed straight up, faster than observer Clixandra thought possible. Then it suddenly turned and dove toward the ground, pulling, out of the dive at the last second. Lieutenant Han Yu-jin performed rolls, loops, and turns that made observer Clixandra feel sick just watching. The jet moved in ways that seemed impossible. It twisted and spun through the air like a deadly dancer. Observer Clixandra checked her instruments. The readings couldn't be right. "Captain, my equipment shows impossible numbers." "What kind of numbers?" "The gravitational forces inside that aircraft should kill any living being." Captain Kim Min-ho looked at the readings. "Oh, that's only about 8 Gs. Lieutenant Han is used to much higher forces." 8 Gs? That would turn my body into liquid. The jet landed smoothly. Lieutenant Han Yu-jin climbed out, looking perfectly fine. She walked over with a big smile on her face. "How was that?" she asked. "Want to see some really advanced maneuvers?" Observer. Clixandra's colors turned completely white. "Really advanced? That was just basic stuff," Lieutenant Han Yu-jin said. "When we're actually fighting, we can do much more extreme moves." "You mean this was easy for you?" "Sure. Any pilot can do those maneuvers. We learned them in the first month of training." Observer. Clixandra looked at her instruments again. The readings showed forces that would kill most galactic species instantly. And this young human woman called it basic stuff. "Captain," Observer Clixandra said quietly, "I need to contact my ship." "Of course, is everything all right?" I need to send a report to the council." That evening, Captain Kim Min-ho found Observer Clixandra in her temporary quarters. She was writing furiously on her glowing leaf device. "How did you find your first day on Earth?" he asked. Observer Clixandra looked up at him. Her colors were dim and tired. "Captain, can I ask you a personal question?" "Sure." "Do all human children learn about warfare in school?" Captain Kim Min-ho thought about this. "Well, yes. We study history, and most of our history involves conflicts of some kind." "And do all humans serve in the military?" "Not all, but many do. We think it's important for citizens to understand how to defend their country." "And you can all withstand forces that would kill other species?" "I guess so. We're built pretty tough." Observer Clixandra was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked, "Captain, do you realize what your species is?" "What do you mean?" "In all the galaxy, we have never found a species like yours. Most civilizations develop technology to avoid conflict. They become peaceful as they grow advanced." "That makes sense," Captain Kim Min-ho said. "But you did the opposite. You became more advanced at conflict. You turned warfare into a science." Captain Kim Min-ho hadn't thought about it that way. "I suppose we did. Captain, every human I met today could survive conditions that would kill me. Every human I talked to knew things about fighting that our greatest military scholars have never imagined. Is that bad?" Observer Clixandra's colors shifted to deep blue. "I don't know, but I think the galaxy is about to change." That night, Observer Clixandra sent her report to the Galactic Council. The message was long and detailed. It described a species that had turned their entire world into a fortress without even realizing it. The report explained how human children learned about warfare like other species learned about art. How human pilots could survive forces that would destroy most beings. How humans had fought so many wars they couldn't count them all, but somehow became more peaceful because of it. The last line of the report read, "Recommend immediate emergency session. We are not dealing with a normal developing species. We have found something unprecedented in galactic history." When the Galactic Council received the message, they called the first emergency meeting in over 200 years. Something was coming to their peaceful galaxy, something they had. The stars had never looked so bright to Commander Lee Tae-ho as he stood on the bridge of Earth's orbital station. Today was different. Today, humanity would meet beings from other worlds for the first time. "Sir, the alien ship is approaching," said Lieutenant Park from the communications panel. Her voice shook a little. Everyone was nervous. Lee Tae-ho nodded. He wore his best military uniform, the one with all his medals. The Earth government wanted to make a good first impression. They wanted the aliens to see that humans were civilized and peaceful. Dr. Park So-young walked onto the bridge. She carried a thick folder full of papers about Earth's culture and history. She had worked for months to prepare for this moment. She wanted everything to be perfect. "Are you ready, Doctor?" Lee Tae-ho asked. "As ready as anyone can be for meeting aliens," she replied with a nervous smile. The alien ship was huge. It looked like a crystal palace floating in space. Beautiful lights danced across its surface. It made Earth's metal station look ugly and rough. "They're requesting permission to board," Lieutenant Park announced. "Tell them yes," Lee Tae-ho said. "And remember, everyone be polite. Smile. Don't make sudden moves." The airlock opened with a soft hiss. The first alien stepped through and everyone gasped. Ambassador Veltar looked like a walking diamond. His body was clear crystal that caught the light and threw rainbows everywhere. When he moved, he made soft musical sounds. Behind him came High Counselor Morthak. He looked like an ancient tree that had learned to walk. His bark-like skin was dark brown, and small leaves grew from his shoulders. His eyes glowed with a soft green light. "Welcome to our station," Dr. Park So-young said. She stepped forward and bowed slightly. "I am Dr. Park So-young, Earth's representative." "The honor is ours," Ambassador Veltar replied. His voice sounded like wind chimes. "We bring greetings from the Galactic Council. We are pleased to meet the newest species to join the galaxy." High Counselor Morthak spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. "Your world is young, but we sense great potential. We look forward to peaceful relations." Dr. Park So-young smiled. "We have prepared a presentation about our world and our people. Would you like to see it?" "Very much," Ambassador Veltar said. They moved to the station's main conference room. Dr. Park So-young had set up a large screen and prepared refreshments. She wanted everything to be perfect. "Earth has been home to humans for thousands of years," she began. "We are a diverse species with many cultures and traditions. We value peace, cooperation, and learning." The aliens nodded politely. Ambassador Veltar made notes on a device that looked like liquid light. High Counselor Morthak's leaves rustled softly as he listened. Dr. Park So-young showed pictures of Earth's cities, mountains, and oceans. She talked about human art, music, and science. She carefully avoided mentioning wars or conflicts. She wanted to show only the best parts of humanity. "Your world is beautiful," Ambassador Veltar said. "Tell us about your government. How do you resolve disputes between different groups?" "We have many nations on Earth," Dr. Park So-young explained. "When there are disagreements, we use diplomacy and negotiation. We believe in solving problems through talk, not violence." This was mostly true. She did not mention the weapons hidden on the station or the military ships waiting just out of sight. The Earth government wanted to appear peaceful. "Commander." Lee Tae-ho stood quietly in the corner. He watched the aliens carefully. His trained eyes noticed things. Ambassador Veltar seemed fragile, like he might break if touched too hard. High Counselor Morthak moved very slowly, as if sudden movements might hurt him. "Would you like some refreshments?" Dr. Park So-young asked. She reached for a glass pitcher filled with water. The pitcher was heavier than she expected. As she lifted it, her hand slipped. The glass pitcher fell and broke on the floor with a loud crash. Sharp pieces scattered everywhere. "Oh no, Dr. Park," So-young said. Without thinking, she knelt down to clean up the mess. A sharp piece of glass cut her hand. Blood began to flow. The aliens jumped back in shock. Ambassador Veltar made a sound like breaking crystal. High Counselor Morthak's leaves turned pale green. "Are you injured?" Ambassador Veltar asked. His voice was full of panic. Dr. Park So-young looked at her hand. The cut was not deep, but it was bleeding. She grabbed a napkin from the table and wrapped it around her hand. "It's just a small cut," she said. "Nothing serious. I'm sorry for the mess." She stood up and continued talking as if nothing had happened. "Now where were we?" "Oh yes, you were asking about our government systems." The alien stared at her in amazement. Ambassador Veltar whispered something to High Counselor Morthak in their own language. Commander Lee Tae-ho noticed the aliens' reaction. He stepped forward. "Is there a problem?" She is injured," Ambassador Veltar said. His voice shook. "Should we not call for medical assistance? Should she not rest?" "It's just a small cut," Commander Lee Tae-ho said. "Dr. Park is fine. Humans heal quickly from minor injuries." "But the pain," High Counselor Morthak said. "How can she continue with such pain?" Dr. Park, so young, looked confused. "Pain? This barely hurts at all. I've had much worse injuries. Once I broke my arm and still finished a presentation." The aliens looked at each other with wide eyes. In their languages, they whispered words that sounded shocked and frightened. Commander Lee Tae-ho began to understand. These aliens had never seen someone ignore pain and injury. They had never met beings who could be hurt and keep working. "Tell me," Ambassador Veltar said carefully, "what do humans do when they are seriously injured?" "We treat the injury and keep going," Commander Lee Tae-ho answered. "Unless it's life-threatening, we don't stop our duties." "And if someone attacks your people?" High Counselor Morthak asked. Commander Lee Tae-ho paused. This was dangerous territory. He chose his words carefully. "We defend ourselves." "How do you defend yourselves?" Dr. Park So-young tried to answer first. "We use diplomacy and we fight," Commander Lee Tae-ho said simply. "If someone threatens our people, we fight back until the threat is gone." The aliens became very quiet. Ambassador Veltar's crystal body seemed to dim. High Counselor Morthak's leaves rustled nervously. "Fight?" Ambassador Veltar asked. "You mean you cause injury to others?" "If we have to," Commander Lee Tae-ho said, "to protect innocent people." "But causing pain is forbidden," High Counselor Morthak said. "No civilized species harms others." "Commander." Lee Tae-ho realized he had made a mistake. These aliens did not understand violence at all. In their worlds, no one fought. No one hurt others. They had never needed to. "We only fight to protect," he said quickly. "We prefer peace." "How many times has your species fought?" Ambassador Veltar asked. Dr. Park So-young and Commander Lee Tae-ho looked at each other. How could they explain thousands of years of human warfare? How could they tell these peaceful beings about world wars, civil wars, and countless battles? "Sometimes," Dr. Park So-young said carefully. "Once or twice in your history?" High Counselor Morthak asked hopefully. Commander Lee Tae-ho cleared his throat. "More than that." The aliens waited for him to continue. When he didn't, Ambassador Veltar asked, 10 times, 20 times? "We have fought many wars," Commander Lee Tae-ho admitted, "but we have also made peace many times." "Many wars?" Ambassador Veltar's voice became very high. "How many is many?" Commander Lee Tae-ho thought about all the wars in human history. All the battles, conflicts, and struggles. He thought about his own military service and the things he had seen. "I cannot count them all," he said honestly. Ambassador Veltar made a sound like shattering glass. High Counselor Morthak's leaves turned completely white. "You cannot count them?" High Counselor Morthak whispered. "There have been so many that you lost count?" The room became very quiet. The only sounds were the soft hum of the stations, machines, and the aliens' frightened breathing. Dr. Park So-young tried to fix the situation. "But we are peaceful now. We want to join the Galactic community. We want to learn from you." "Of course," Ambassador Veltar said, but his voice sounded strange. We should return to our ship now, to make our report." "Will we see you again?" Dr. Park So-young asked. "Yes," High Counselor Morthak said. "We will need to discuss this with the Council." The aliens left quickly. They did not shake hands or make any goodbye gestures. They walked fast to their ship like they were running away. Commander Lee Tae-ho and Dr. Park So-young watched the beautiful crystal ship fly away. "That went well," Dr. Park So-young said. But she did not sound Sure, Commander Lee Tae-ho shook his head. I don't think it did, Doctor. I think we just scared them very badly. But why? We were honest and polite. That's exactly why, Commander Lee Tae-ho said. We told them the truth about what humans are, and I think they've never met anyone like us before. In space, the alien ship sent a message to the Galactic Council. The message was marked urgent and species assessment required. The message said, "We have found something new, something different, something that might change everything. Recommend immediate council session. The humans are not what we expected." Back on the station, Commander Lee Tae-ho looked out at the stars. He had a feeling that humanity's introduction to the galaxy was going to be